Well, welcome back. You know, election stress, it's a real thing. And if you've been feeling anxious or overwhelmed, our next guest is sharing tips to help us all cope. Joining me now is UT physician psychiatrist Dr. Bobby Nix. Welcome to the show.
Hi, welcome.
Well, let's just first talk about this. Election stress, it is a real thing.
Yeah, so election stress is basically the tension and anxiety that surrounds the upcoming election and the outcome of that election. We've all been through a lot with the pandemic recently and everything else that's been going on, so emotions and tensions are really heightened, and it just gets compounded by all of this discussion regarding the election.
Absolutely. And, you know, opposing views, and you're already highly stressed anyway and maybe anxious given all those other things that we've all been dealing with. And many people have reported to be at odds with friends and family members over political views. So what can we do to really lessen the election stress?
So one of the biggest things is consumption of news and social media. I know that's an awkward thing to say on this show right now. But it's good to limit the amount of news and media that you're consuming. Limit it to 30 to 60 minutes a day, or set a specific period of time that you're only going to watch the news from 5 to 6. Overconsumption can just really add a lot to that stress. People read a lot of the news and what's coming up, and it just escalates. It spirals out of control. So you have to place a limit on that for yourself.
And I think it's also really important when you mention social media. A lot of people say they go down the rabbit hole on some of these comments, right? And you say avoid the comment sections on political posts or even news articles, because I think that's really strong advice, because it just kind of gets you amped up anyway. Okay, when this is all said and done, we don't know if that's going to be the case tonight or tomorrow, but what do we do once Election Day is over?
So, yeah, you said that Election Day is going to be over at the end of, midnight, but it doesn't mean that this election is going to be over. It could be several more weeks before we find out who our new president is. And there's going to be a lot of stress around that for a lot of people. And this could just lead to further heightening of, the general environment. One of the biggest things to do is continue to limit your news consumption and take a break. Be sure to take some time for yourself. And if there is an issue that's specifically very important to you, reach out to your senator, reach out to your congressman, make a phone call. You can even volunteer for certain organizations related to that topic. Just go out there and do something good with your time. Be productive.
Absolutely. That is great advice as well. And I feel like, too, what's really important is the way that we're feeling today may not necessarily be that amped up in a week, a month, or a year from now.
That's correct.
It's great to manage that stress, too. Okay, so we are also about to begin the holiday season, right? Thanksgiving's upon us. We have Christmas. Of course, we're all celebrating differently. But how do we get through the holidays peacefully? Because we know politics is one of those that really can amp up everyone.
So the simplest answer to that question is don't discuss politics. That's the easiest solution. It can be a very contentious issue for a lot of people. You're going to know best about your family and your friends and who you can and cannot talk to about politics. If you have to talk about it, set some guidelines, set some boundaries that there's going to be no interrupting. You can only talk about it for a few minutes. Stick to broad general issues. Try not to focus on very specific topics. And if it starts to get heated or escalate, end it. Both of you just know when you have to walk away so you can remain friends and not make a bad situation.
That's great advice. And again, breathing is always really good, too. Exhaling, inhaling, kind of taking that moment. Dr. Bobby Nix, psychiatrist with UT Physicians, we appreciate your time today on how to manage Election Day stress.
Thank you.
And if you would like more information or to schedule a consultation, you can visit utphysicians.com or simply call 888-488-3627. And still ahead.